From taking advantage of one of his fans to fulfill his sick desires, to emotionally manipulating his victim for his own gain, this is the deplorable story of Potemer and how he is trying to get away with it all. However, before we get into the details of this situation, I want to clarify that if you are in any way a supporter or fan of Potemer's, please watch until the end before commenting hate or defending his deplorable actions. But first, we must learn about who exactly Potemer is. On the 23rd of June 2006, a child was born inside of a Texas hospital. This child would eventually grow up to be the infamous animation YouTuber we all know, known as Potemer. Potemer would create his YouTube channel on October 24th, 2018. He would post mainly Roblox videos at the start. This was just gameplay videos, meme videos, and anything he found cool at the time. However, his content would slowly start to change into videos that were targeted towards a younger demographic. He would start to upload more YouTube shorts, allowing him to reach the massive milestone of 1 million subscribers in July of 2024. But ironically enough, this would be the same month that would mark the beginning of the end for Potemer's career on the platform. See, this would all start on the 12th of January 2024. Popular Roblox commentary YouTuber Paolo would announce in his Discord server stating, "Roblox YouTuber Potemer is facing very serious allegations of having oral with a 12 turning 13-year-old when he was 16 years old. This would mean that the age gap exceeds 3 years and also would mean it was statutory rape, as 12/13-year-olds cannot consent. He also admitted in the DMs that he was manipulative and controlling over them too, and crossed state lines to see them, with Paolo detailing that he will be making a video on the situation and even wanted to hear Potemer's side of everything before posting it. However, with Potemer avoiding Paolo's friend request, it would only be a matter of time until the bombshell of evidence would drop on Paolo's channel. This would be followed by a tweet from popular Roblox animation YouTuber SebMotions on the very same day reading, "Potemer is finally getting cancelled." This would hint that it was very near the end of Potemer's career and it would only be a matter of time before everything went public. This is where Paolo would take to Twitter in a quote tweet that said, "Video detailing the entire situation is set to release tomorrow. It debunks any fleeting defense people throw at a 12 and 16 age gap. And to those who are defending Potemer, we know who you are and we won't forget," confirming that Paolo's video would be released the very next day. This takes us to the 14th of January 2025. Paolo would drop a video titled "Roblox YouTuber Potemer Exposed," the same video he was talking about on Twitter and in the Discord message. In said video, Paolo would go into detail about the allegations and how all of this even became public. However, before we get into the details of what happened, first you need to keep in mind two people. Miss Yellow, who is the victim and 12-year-old Potemer was talking to that wishes to remain anonymous, and Mr. Red, a YouTuber who would connect with both Potemer and the victim to get all the facts correct. They would all get in contact with each other on July 26th of 2024 to talk about and discuss what exactly happened. The first screenshot provided to us would be a confirmation that the conversations that took place all happened in July of 2024. The first piece of evidence to be released would show Mr. Red asking both Potemer and Miss Yellow how long they have known each other for. This is where Miss Yellow would confirm that they have known each other for about 5 years, first making contact with each other when she was 10 and he was 14, meaning there was more than a 3-year age gap between Potemer and the victim. And if we look at this screenshot, which was Potemer announcing to his Discord server that it was his birthday, we can see that it was sent on the 23rd of June, meaning his birthday would have to be the 23rd of June 2006. This would be confirmed when Mr. Red asked Potemer how old he was as of July 2024, with Potemer replying that he was 18, meaning he turned 18 on June 23rd, 2024. And in this screenshot, we see Mr. Red asking Miss Yellow when her birthday is, with the victim confirming they were born on the 13th of December 2009. Now, if we put this into an age gap calculator, it would mean that they had an age gap of 3 years, 5 months, and 20 days. And you will see why that is a problem in just a bit. In this screenshot, it confirmed that Potemer and Miss Yellow would initially meet each other in a Discord server under the name Chill Isles, with Potemer detailing how the victim lied about her age in order to remain in the Discord server without being banned, as Discord only allows you to use their platform if you're above the age of 13. However, the victim would confirm that although they lied about their age on the server, Potemer still had full knowledge of her real age. And in this screenshot, she confirms that she did lie to other members in that Discord server, and the only reason she did this was to remain in the Discord server and to keep contact with her friends, as like I said before, Discord only allows users who are above the age of 13. However, it's not like Potemer has ever lied or tried to hide the situation, as he thinks it's perfectly okay. We saw this when another big Roblox animation YouTuber that will be keeping anonymous would testify against him that Potemer knew the victim's age and would talk about his relationship with her in voice calls with them, despite her being 12 and him being 16. Mr. Red would go on to ask both of them if they were from the United States, which Potemer and Miss Yellow would both reply saying yes. And in these screenshots, we see that Miss Yellow confirms that she is from Florida, but not only that, Potemer would also confirm that he had flown all the way from Texas to Florida in order to meet up with her in real life. And this would also mean that Potemer crossed state lines in order to commit these illegal acts. It would also mean that both Potemer and the victim's parents were either not told about the age gap or didn't care about how big of an age gap it was, despite it being their own child, which I would like to personally add is very irresponsible of both parents for not only allowing their son to fly to a completely different state to meet up with a 12-year-old girl, but it's also just as irresponsible of Miss Yellow's parents for allowing her to meet up with a 16-year-old boy at such a young age. Now, you will notice I mentioned the age gap is very important in the case of Potemer. Personally, I think it's extremely weird that a 16-year-old boy is meeting up and having sex with a 12-year-old girl, but that's just my opinion. In the eyes of the law, however, it is still illegal, as in Florida, where the incident took place, both parties have to be 18 or older to consent to any sexual acts. And I do understand that people have relationships where both parties are under 18 and they will still do things, but this is no regular age gap. This is between somebody who is 12, just starting puberty, barely even finishing middle school, while Potemer is 16, has been through puberty for several years, is able to work and be employed, and is nearing the end of his high school education. The reason I bring up these points is that they clearly have a maturity difference, and although Potemer may disagree, he at 16 years old is far more mature, intelligent, and strong than any other 12-year-old. So when you take these factors into consideration, you begin to realize just how weird this age gap really was. And as we see in this screenshot right here, Potemer literally admits that they had sex with each other while he was 16 and she was 12. Now you will find he often uses the excuse that it's fine because they were both at the time. So basically what he is saying is that if you are 17 and you have sex with someone who is 8, it wouldn't matter because they are both minors. Now you see with that wild example how bad this defense really is. And just because both people in this situation are under 18 does not cancel out how weird it is. Just because Potemer is older, yes, it doesn't make him a pedophile, but it definitely is not okay morally nor legally, no matter how you try and put it. However, when questioned about the interactions, he did not deny it ever happening, and instead would go on to detail the aftermath of the situation, mentioning how between Potemer and Miss Yellow, they thought it was pretty dumb when they brought it up, adding that they think it shouldn't have happened with that big of an age gap, considering they weren't even in a relationship. So even Potemer and the victim both confirm they think the age gap was too big. He would also go on to mention how they would then agree to forget about it and only remember the quote, fun activities they did, unquote. And if we take a look at this screenshot where Mr. Red would ask when and where they had sex, Miss Yellow would reply detailing how it all took place in her home state of Florida on the 26th of July 2022. This would also confirm that she was 12 while Potemer was 16, and under Florida law, this situation is extremely illegal, and if the victim's parents were to press charges on her behalf, it would cause Potemer to be charged with a felony offense and put on a registration list for the rest of his life. And in this screenshot, it confirms that they were both excited before meeting up and were even going to set up a movie to watch together after everything went down. In this conversation between Mr. Red and Potemer, he would also confirm that no explicit images or text messages were ever exchanged between him and the victim. This would also be confirmed by the victim as well. Potemer would then be asked about how they broke up, with the reason being that he was being very manipulative towards her and getting jealous and potentially controlling whenever she talked to any other guy. This would cause Miss Yellow to eventually break up with him over his behavior. And in this screenshot, it shows the victim confirming that Potemer was emotionally manipulative towards her and would try to get his own way all the time. However, she still insists that he has changed and is a better person now. Potemer clarifying that he had no intentions of dating anyone new and was extremely sad over the breakup between him and Miss Yellow. Also, literally admitting that he had sex with her when he was 16 and she was 12. Also claiming that they are still in contact with each other, which was from July of 2024. However, many speculate that they are possibly still friends to this day. Also confirming for the second time that he was 18, with this message being sent in July of 2024, meaning he would have had to turn 18 that year as it was 1 month after his birthday. Even Potemer's own Discord moderator saying that he thinks the situation should be public, even though it may have an effect on his job working for Potemer. People within Potemer's close circle confirming that Potemer has changed and since gone to therapy about everything. However, this still doesn't change the fact that when he was 16 years old, emotionally manipulated and took advantage of a 12-year-old girl. Ruben Sim would even comment about the situation behind the scenes, adding that he personally thinks the age gap is horrible, and although the situation happened 2 years ago, still isn't a big enough window of time to allow for proper change, and that someone in an age gap as big as that should not be trusted in a server around kids. And I totally agree. If you to this day still think that the age gap you had is okay, you still haven't changed how you think. Now, you see the problem with Potemer having a mostly child audience. Not only are they the exact demographic which he should be staying away from, but with situations like this, his fans won't be able to fully understand the situation until they are older, and it is too late. And that's the unfortunate thing about it. However, I'll touch on that more at the end of the video. In the next screenshot, we see Parlo having a conversation with one of Potemer's mods. Since Potemer still wouldn't talk to Parlo directly, this is where his mod would be seen defending Potemer's actions and talking about how Potemer has debunked these allegations when clearly that is not true. Not only has Potemer admitted that he met up and engaged in acts with a 12-year-old while 16, but he also admitted that the age gap was too big and it shouldn't have happened, even with one of his mods going back on what they said, saying that he hasn't seen any evidence himself and purely trusts Potemer because he is a quote, good person. People are even getting banned from his Discord server for mentioning just the age gap, not even what happened between them, providing even more reason for me to believe that Potemer feels guilty about what happened, and if he feels guilty, that can only mean one thing: that he knows it's bad. Now, within just a couple of hours of Parlo's video being public, Potemer would take to YouTube with a community post responding to these allegations. However, the amount of lies and attempts to cover up what he did is truly disgusting, and you can just tell by reading this that he is trying to manipulate his audience into feeling bad for him. So I'm going to read this response, but every time he lies, I am going to correct him. This is what he said. It really disgusts and saddens me to read all of these hateful and untrue comments. I wouldn't think I would have to tell you about my personal life, but I now realize that so many of you actually believe it. So here goes. The incident everyone is talking about happened nearly 3 years ago. This does not excuse the situation at all. No matter how much time has passed, it does not change the fact that the victim could not consent and was taken advantage of by someone almost 4 years older. I had just turned 16. My mother and I went on vacation and I met up with a close friend that was 3 years younger than me. Our mothers arranged it a couple months in advance. My mother took us to the movies, to lunch, and an indoor amusement park. We were all together in public the whole day. People are saying we did things that we didn't do or that I forced her in some way, and it's all lies. Our mothers were there. He likes to use this excuse that because parents were there means that nothing could have happened, but when asked about it, he literally says it himself. There are people that are making videos about me with screenshots that are twisted and taken out of context. Now, this is purely a deflection tactic. Your own mods and friends have testified against you, and you even said everything yourself in screenshots that your own friends confirmed were real. Even worse are the fake accounts pretending to be me and making things up. Strangers are calling me a PDF when I was a minor myself. Yes, this means you're not a But it doesn't excuse the fact that you took advantage of somebody that is not old enough to consent. 3 years and 5 months is too big of an age gap to even be considered okay under the Romeo and Juliet laws in both Florida and Texas. Today, I am 18 and she is 15. Nothing about our ages is illegal. We are still friends and she is horrified at the lies people are saying about her. This is an attempt to downplay the victim's suffering. Emotional manipulation often keeps victims silent or supportive, especially when they are young and don't fully understand what they have been through. All of this has really taken a toll on my mental health, and it makes me question if I should keep doing YouTube. While mental health is very important, it should never be used to deflect accountability in any situation. This is nothing more than him trying to guilt trip and sympathy bait his young audience who don't realize how f***ed up he really is. The focus needs to remain on the harm caused to the victim, not Potemer's feelings about being called out. Then for the rest of the response, he pretty much just continues to sympathy bait, going on to say how if you don't believe him, then you aren't allowed to watch him. The fact of the matter is, Potemer and the victim have both confirmed they met up and had sex when he was 16 and she was 12, with an age gap of 3 years and 5 months. That is the facts, okay? Morally, I personally think it's disgusting. When I was 16, I saw 12-year-olds as literal children, but in the case of Potemer, he saw it as someone he could have sex with. You see how crazy that sounds? The fact that people are even defending him with this level of evidence, testimonies, and literal self-admission is insane to me. Potemer seems like a nice guy on the surface. He makes alright content for those who watch it and seems to spread a lot of positivity, but that will never take away from what he has done. Just because several years have passed does not mean it's okay now. You can't just someone, do some charity work, and then act like you never took another person's life. The facts are there, and your past will never leave. You might be a good person on the surface, Potemer, and maybe that's to make up for the guilt of raping a 12-year-old girl, but from what I've seen, you're nothing but a manipulative bitch who takes advantage of younger girls knowing they don't know any better. Yeah, maybe the victim thinks you getting called out is up right now, but when she gets older and realizes how you took away her innocence from such a young age, she will soon start to realize how much harm you really caused. I'm sorry for getting mad towards the end of today's video, but the way he responded to everything is just ridiculous to say the least. But as always, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy content like this, please make sure to subscribe, and if you want to watch something similar to this, click the video on screen now.